this episode, I talk to you about wet palette, how to use it, and how to make one. So, what is a wet palette? Well, a wet palette is basically a palette, there's wet. Pretty straightforward, right? So what it's designed to do is it's designed to keep your paints wet for longer. So when I first started out, I used just the Citadel palettes that you would get, these paper sort of things, and I put my paint on it, you know, thin it like Duncan said, bit of water, paint away, but then I'd waste loads of the paint because it would dry before I'd finish painting my model, so I'd have to put more paint down, so I'd just end up wasting more. So a friend of mine, who's funny enough the co-founder of this YouTube channel, showed me a wet palette and how easy it is to use one, and what his models now look like that he's using one. Because not only does it keep your paints wet for longer, it also thins your paints for you as well. Because the water, how it works is the water's in a sponge and it soaks up through underneath. You can use parchment paper or baking paper or things like that, and it keeps the paint thin, but also keeps it wet for longer. So if you're doing like a session of maybe, I don't know, say 8 models, for example, you're just trying to base coat them all blue, you can put a nice blob of blue down, give them a paint, and I can guarantee you, before it goes dry, you'd use all the paint, which is great. So it saves you money, your models look good because the paint's thinner, and I've had a lot of feedback from people saying their painting's now a lot better since using a wet palette. So, you know, there's loads of videos on YouTube, people talking about wet palettes. But what I really want to show you is how to make one and how cheap and easy it is to actually do, because I think everybody should be able to use a wet palette if they want to. So let's pop over to the table and I'll show you. Okay then guys, so making a wet palette couldn't be more straightforward. You just need a tub, sponge, you know, one's seen better days, but you know, seen better days, but it does the job. So sponge, baking paper or parchment paper, and some quality H2O, just some clean water. So I use tap water, but some people like to use distilled water. But yeah, so literally all you do, get your tub, pop your sponge in. So this is dry. What I tend to do is I like to just put the water over it like this, just enough to make the sponge nice and wet. Don't want too much water because I don't want it seeping through. So when I push it, you see that? Water comes to the surface and disappears. That's how I want it. And all I do, cut a bit of baking paper out, put it in like this, like so. Good little press down, and it's done. That is a wet palette. Simple, nice and simple, nice and easy to do. So yeah, like that. What's that? Maybe £3 worth, and you got yourself a wet palette. Really easy, really easy. Anybody can do it. And if you look underneath, I'll just show you. See a bit of water running. There you go. Water's just running a little bit, and that's literally how I like to leave it, just like that. So that is good to go. You just pop your paint straight on there. So I just put a dab of water in with my paint still, and yeah, it works straight. So yeah, that's a wet palette. I'll join you back over there and we'll talk about it. So you see how easy that was, how cheap it was. You know, it's a no-brainer. You know, all you need is 3 things. You need the tub to store things. It could be a tub, it could just be anything. It could be a bowl, it could be whatever you want it to be, as long as it can hold water and it'll hold the sponge. Perfect. You just need a little bit of sponge, and you need some parchment paper, which is, you know, or baking paper, which is relatively cheap. I use baking paper, works fine for me. So yeah, that's a wet palette and how you make one. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to write a comment below, have a chat about how your painting's improved for a wet palette, or if you found this helpful, or any suggestions for what videos to do next. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching.